Take us through the fourth quarter of it, I guess.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge many of you have been on this process with us, right? And it has been a long process. I want to thank everybody who's worked on it on all sides. The state of Missouri has been amazing. Governor Keogh has, created legislation that was unprecedented before. Working with the county has been an interesting experience. But they've been really, really supportive, and they showed their passion. They really would love to find a way to stay. Same with the city and Mayor Lucas. So let me start with that. Yeah, it's been a long process. There have been a lot of ups and downs in the process. There have been so many days when I thought we were staying, and so many days when I thought we were not staying. So to come to this conclusion is something that we've said publicly. Our job was to create two really good options. We had two great partners to create those options in both states. We presented to the family. It was unanimous, and they're excited about the future. And I think Clark has probably hit on this, but they really reflected on their father. And a lot of those meetings were about, what would Dad do? And they were unanimous that he would want to do this. He would want to increase and enhance the fans' experience, create more fan engagement. He would want to make sure that we remain the loudest stadium in the world, and we'll do that through our design. And he would want to make sure that we have the absolute best tailgating in the world. So it'll be as good, if not better, than what our people have experienced. We respect that, and we'll make that part of it.
Mark, when did you guys make reach this conclusion?
Yeah, we've been back and forth and back and forth. So I would say it was very, very late in the process. It would surprise you how late. I'll just leave it at that.
What did you say? You guys been negotiating with the city as late as last week. Why the case if you guys had already made up your minds to come here?
You'd be amazed at how late.
Like as late as Friday, though? You guys didn't decide till Friday? And you guys were, even with the announcement and stuff?
Yeah, we were still negotiating points of the deal, and on both sides, still in discussions with both sides.
What did you say to the city and the county in Missouri, Jackson and Kansas City, Clinton, Lucas, when you had to break it to them that you had made a decision to come to Kansas?
Yeah, those are tough phone calls. I really appreciate the respect and the relationship that we have formed with all three of those individuals. They were hard, they weren't happy, but each one of them understood it was a business decision. They understood the foot that they put their best foot forward, and they remain supportive as much as you can in those situations. But they were difficult conversations. It's a difficult decision, but you got to make these decisions. It's about the next chapter, and this is about the future. It's about our fans, and it's about, I will say this, benefiting the entire region. This is going to make our region better by being able to attract events that we would never be able to attract.
Such as like you're going to have to pull some fans back in that are going to be pretty upset about their attachment to Arrowhead, or people that are on that side?
Yeah, I'll say two things to that. One is we have 5 years left at Arrowhead, and we are going to celebrate every single day at Arrowhead. We have a lot of things already in planning that after today our marketing team will get going on is how do we celebrate all of the great memories? How do we celebrate what makes this place special? And how do we really pay respect to the fans that have made it the special place that it is? I think that this is an emotional decision for everyone. We understand and respect it's emotional for our fans. And it's going to take some time. Change is hard. We appreciate that. And I think over time, people will see that this is the best decision for everyone involved, including our fans.
Nearly all the new stadiums have PSLs.
One more time?
Nearly all the new stadiums have a PSL element to it. Will PSLs be part of the funding for this?
We haven't made that final decision. As I mentioned, we were late in the process as to which way we would go. So we'll consider that. Every new stadium that we know of has PSLs. We did do polling about PSLs.
I'm guessing that came up. People don't want to pay PSLs.
Actually,
right?
It would surprise you.
Really?
Just a general understanding of PSLs,
Right.
and what they are and why they're the way they are. And we'll get into it later, but there's a lot of value in owning a PSL in the sports world. There's a reason why these PSLs sell in all of these stadiums. So if you look at the newest stadiums that are out there, if you look at Buffalo, if you look at Tennessee, you look at teams like that, I mean, they've sold very, very well because there's true value in a PSL.
What do you envision the size of this stadium?
Say it again?
What do you envision the size of the stadium capacity?
Yeah, I mean, the term sheet's public now, so you'll see that we have an obligation to build a 65,000 plus stadium. I think you can look at the newest stadiums that are out there, specifically the dome stadiums, and even Buffalo. I mean, they're between 62 and 68, so somewhere in that range.
Mark, do you
Why
expect the
is that
Super Bowl
seating-
to come to Kansas City?
We're going to bid really, really hard for it. We've got an amazing city with a track record of really doing great things. If you think about the NFL draft, think about the All-Star games that we've hosted, you think about AFC Championship games, and then obviously this summer we're hosting one of the biggest events in the world. So we think this puts us on the map to be able to competitively compete to bring that.
What was it about the Kansas offer that in the end was so compelling?
I think both offers were compelling, so I want to be crystal clear on that. I think if you go back into the timeline of how this all happened, I mean, this goes back to 22 when they put this legislation in place. And there was sports gambling, iLottery, the things that they played into that as part of making that. I would say one of the advantages they had was working with one entity. We were negotiating with one entity on the terms of the deals. This gets really, really complex and really, really complicated, and negotiations are hard. And that's why I mentioned, like, there were days you walk away from a negotiation like, we're not doing a deal. But they persevered. We both sort of compromised, and we found a way to get it done.
Mark, it seems from your guys' standpoint, the next step would be the design of the stadium. What has to be prioritized to make it the best case scenario for your fan base, and also the viability of hosting a Final Four or a Super Bowl?
Yeah, today really kicks off that process. So once the decision's made, it's now we move forward. The design principles will be very specific, even in the earliest discussions we've had. And we got this from our fans in the surveys that we did. It must be loud. And we believe there are design ways that can make it even louder. It must take into account that tailgating is one of the most important parts of our entire experience. It's what we're best at, it's what we're celebrated for, it's what our fans are proud of. Whatever you think about the stadium and seats and suites and things like that, we think about the entire experience. And that will be part of the design. So I think those are the two most compelling pieces of it. And then we want to make a world-class stadium that makes a statement. Something that represents our fans and represents the Hunt family.
Do you guys envision having training camp at the practice facility in Olathe, or would that still be?
Yeah, if you look at what's happening across the National Football League, 32 teams, I think 4 of them go away, or one of the 4. So that is obviously the trend. We will design a training facility that can host training camp. Scheduling and things like that come into play, and depending on your head coach, right? We have one that loves going away.
Yeah.
So there'll still be options.
Will the Chiefs own the stadium?
Yeah, the term sheet's public, so you'll see in the term sheet that there'll be a quasi-government entity that will own the stadium, very similar to most of the biggest and newest stadiums out there. It'll be a public entity.
Did the state offer any other incentives besides star bonds? Like the state has an incentive that allows you to keep payroll withholding.
Yeah, I think that one of the best things about the term sheet being public is all those details are in there. This is a term sheet. We've got definitive documents we've got to negotiate, but the gist of the agreement is there, and details like that are outlined there.
So as time goes on, sir, will the Chiefs still keep their charity partners and other community organizations on the Missouri side, helping out people in need around the Kansas City, Missouri side? What will you do there?
Yeah, that's an important point. We've been a great partner, I believe, with Jackson County and with the state of Missouri. The Hunt Family Foundation is very proud of the efforts that they've made and the contributions that they make. Our intention is to continue to do that, obviously, over the next 5 years. And I don't envision a day when we're not going to support Jackson County or support Kansas City. It's part of this region. It's part of what the Hunt Family Foundation mission is. And you'll see this in the term sheet. We have other obligations of spending against charitable causes and wellness causes in the state of Kansas, and that will be incremental to what we do.
Mark, when you talk about the fact that a new stadium open up some new possibilities for the region, did you guys ever present that option to Missouri?
A dome?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Or a
asking?
new stadium there?
A new stadium in Missouri?
We never got to that point of the conversation. I think when you go through the details of the negotiation, which I will not go into, getting to that funding level would be a pretty big challenge.
Mark, you've mentioned the Arrowhead name. Is there any possibility the Arrowhead name follows you here?
We haven't really even considered that at this point. I think when you look at what we're going to build and what we hope to design, we'll make that decision later.
Have you pinned down the site where you think you will build this? Are there several sites under consideration?
We have multiple sites in the state of Kansas under control, and we'll make that decision at a later date. That will play into the design process. But we are not definitive on the site at this point, other than we have land under control, so we can make a decision.
And generally,
since
that
this
is
will-
basically out near the Speedway. Most of the things, Wyandotte County. That's what we're talking about there.
Yeah.
What's the feel on the mixed use part of that? When there's already a lot of stuff out there, how close you have to be? How does that district work with the Star Bonds part?
Yeah, you'll see again in the term sheet the entire district is defined. One of the things that we talked about today was working with the local leaders in Wyandotte, local leaders in Olathe in the case of our training facility, to determine exactly how we do that. But I would say that, with all humility, bringing the National Football League to Wyandotte and building the facility that we're going to build is going to drive development, and we're confident of that.
Sir,
What
because
were
this
the
will be
emotions of the meeting with the Hunt family, just knowing that Arrowhead's going to be no more, even if it's 5 years from now?
Yeah, I want to be careful here just because it's a private meeting, but I do think our fans need to hear that it was a hard decision, and they weighed it. They were methodical. Look, I've worked on this. Our team has worked on this for 4.5 years. We did a lot of due diligence to put together the deals that we have, and while it was emotional, they were decisive, and they're really excited about the future. And as I said before, I think one of the statements that came out of it, this is, Dad would be so excited about this, and that's pretty inspiring.
And for clarity purposes,
Two
that
more,
was
two more
that
questions.
was
We'll go
Friday?
Nate and Jesse, and then we'll wrap up.
For clarity purposes, that was Friday?
We've had multiple meetings. I'm not going to go into the details of that meeting, but it was relatively recently, I'll put it that way.
Sorry.
I have a question. One more question.
Go for it.
Sir, because this will be a dome stadium, God forbid if there's ever a natural disaster, would you welcome it being served as a shelter for the community to come to and get help in any way needed, like some other dome stadiums are used for?
I think the Hunt family has proven over the years that when this area is in need, we step up. So I would expect that we'll do the same.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you.